Well guys, we've all heard the expression armour tough, right? And these cars are virtually bulletproof. This is my Big Rock 4x4 BLX. There is, however, a one weak point on all of the Arrma 4x4s, either the brushed versions or the brushless BLX versions, and this is this wheelie bar, because if it takes a hit rear end down, this piece of plastic just in the middle here can tend to snap, and it happens very, very easily. Said to Steve OD, Steve, that's the first thing that's going to break on your car. About 2 days later, first thing that broke on his car was that bang, goes end down and breaks. After got through about 3 of these, I thought there's got to be some other solution. Ideally what you want is something like this, the one on the Rustler 4x4 VXL, where when that lands rear end down, the thing bends and absorbs some of the shock, so it doesn't want to snap. If you can see that on there, people, if anyone's not familiar with that on there. And I'd fitted this on upside down the other day, and one of you guys spotted it in the video, and I put it back on, and I put it back on upside down, and then a little light bulb of an idea came into my head when I was thinking about it. So I went out and bought another one of these. As you'll see, I've got a fully working solution for the Arrma 4x4 wheelie bar breakage problem, because it won't break when it's got one of these fitted. And if you like this stuff, guys, don't forget to subscribe. And I would point out, guys, this has got weights at the front of it, fan on the motor. That means it's geared up for 4S, so you definitely want to subscribe. You don't want to miss this thing running on 4S. Anyway, on with that Arrma wheelie bar conversion. So with that idea in mind, I thought, why not see if you can fit one of these to that Arrma Granite? Now on the left here, we've got the Arrma Big Rock 4x4 BLX. On the right, the traxxas Rustler 4x4 VXL. You'll note the wheelie bar is sitting much higher up on the Rustler than it is on the Big Rock. And the back of the Big Rock is the same as the back of the Granite, which I've got the problem on at the minute. But I do like the idea that this flexes. So let's see if we can get one to fit. So in order to try this out, I bought a spare traxxas Rustler 4x4 VXL wheelie bar. Now my idea is cut these 2 lugs off of here and drill 2 holes through on the back to mount them up with the back of the mounting holes on here. Now this, you're thinking, is sitting quite a bit higher than the original Arrma one was, but if you rotate this around, and I did this by accident on the Rustler, somebody pointed out to me, Rich, you've got it on upside down, it's actually going to drop that down by about 1 centimetre on there. It's not maybe the 2 or 3 centimetres that I would ideally like, but nonetheless it's going to help. So my first task, cut these lugs off, take this rear bumper off of the Arrma Granite. Hope all that makes sense. Any questions along the way, do ask. Well, first up, I'm going to remove these 2 screws and remove what remains of the wheelie. Okay, with those 2 screws removed, that removes that broken bit of the wheelie bar. The one thing I would say, guys, hopefully this conversion works, because there's about a third one of these I've got through. Now I'm going to use the Dremel to cut these 2 bits off, make it completely flush on the back. Okay, now that should, with a little bit of tidying up, be flat enough to fit flush against the back bumper of the original Arrma one. Now guys, with it partly assembled, to anyone thinking, is this really going to work, Rich? Well, I'm not just flipping this bit upside down, I'm also going to flip this mount, as by doing that, we're going to gain another centimetre or so further on down. So if I put that roughly in the height of there, the wheelie bar is going to drop down nearly 2, maybe 3 centimetres from its original position. So now let me compare that to the one on the Big Rock. Well, bringing the Arrma Big Rock in on this side so you can compare the height. If I remove this bumper and fix this one to the back of the car, it's going to be sitting at about that height. That's pretty darn close to my mind there, guys. And you're going to have the flexibility of this thing's going to flex around, and unlike the current wheelie bar, it's not just going to snap, because this one's going to flex around. I'm thinking remove the rest of this bumper completely and fix this part with 2 screws on through those existing 2 mounting points in there, and replace this in its entirety. Now I will point out, you're going to need to keep these 2 screws safe, as you're going to need them to put the other bumper back on. Now all that's left to do is remove this one long screw that goes through from this side. So undo that, pull that out, and this top part will come away. Okay, that bolt just pulled straight out. This then comes off of there. Right, now I'm probably going to have to grind the 2 parts off the inside of there with my Dremel, because they're in line pretty much with those 2 screws, with the 2 screw holes in there. So what I want to do, drill 2 holes through the middle of that, using the original screws on there, fasten that back bumper on, and there is going to be my fully flexible wheelie bar. You need to tighten these up a bit. Okay guys, we see the inside there, I flattened the 2 lugs off the inside as well. So I now need to drill 2 fixing holes through this side, and I need them to be exactly the same width apart as these 2 screw holes on here. So I'm going to measure that up. So measuring that out, that's precisely 2 centimeters between the 2 drill holes on there. So I need to drill 2 3mm holes, probably drill 4mm holes in the middle of this. Okay guys, drill my 2 holes in there. I've used a 7/64 drill. They're tight, they will screw through there, but I want as least slop as possible, if that makes sense. Okay guys, got my 2 screws in, ready to fit into here. Now note the orientation. You want this end higher than this end. You want this as low down as possible. So just going to screw these 2 in and then fix the wheelie bar on. The flexible bit, as I'll call it, is now added on there. So we're going to put the wheelie bar on, but making sure that we've got this little wing bit or flange bit pointing down. So we want this sitting as low as possible on there. So just 2 screws in through there, and then we're done. Well, with those 2 screws on, that's my wheelie bar now in place, and we've got one that is going to flex. If it takes an end down landing now, it's going to bend rather than just snapping like the previous plastic one did. Let's compare it side by side to the big rock one. What are we, about 1 centimetre higher on there? But this fully flexible on here and will take a big hit or so on here, whereas this one, very rigid, is likely to snap if the car lands end down on that bumper again. This one will just move to one side. Anyway guys, give this video the thumbs up if you like that tip. Link to the parts below the video. Hopefully that helps cure your Arrma 4x4 BLX rear bumper problems. Well guys, hope you like my solution there to the Arrma 4x4 wheelie bar problems that I've been having. I know a lot of other people have as well. A lot of Arrmas, they are Arrma tough, but this does tend to break rather a lot. It could do with something in there that flexes. It's a bit too rigid, so on those end down landings, bang, that is where it goes, and it does go time after time on there. Whereas with this new setup, it's just going to bounce and you're not going to get the same kind of problems on there. Anyway, hope that was of use. If it was, then don't forget to subscribe and by all means share with friends. And just before I wrap things up folks, as you'll see on there, the body fits on, clears perfectly well on the new wheelie bar. We hope you liked this video. If you did, please click on the circle image to subscribe. And if you hit subscribe, then don't forget to hit that little notifications bell next to it.